According to Mark Brantley, leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement, partner in the Team Unity Coalition government of St. Kitts and Nevis, PAM and CCM partners have jointly indicated to the Governor-General that currently Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris no longer has the majority support of cabinet members in the National Assembly. After attempts at resolving issues, including a letter to the Prime Minister demanding his position on the issues, Brantley said PAM and CCM have informed the Governor-General of the shift in support in the National Assembly. Brantley commented on the issues during a call-in radio show aired on Freedom FM on 21st April 2022.
The Honorable Sean Richards and I, who as leaders of PAM and CCM respectively, command amongst us 7 of the 11 elected seats in the National Assembly. We therefore decided that we would commit to writing the concerns and invite a response from the Honorable Prime Minister by Wednesday, yesterday, the 20th of April.
Yes.
That letter was hand-delivered, and we waited for a response. That response would have come at 1:51 a.m. this morning via email, and that response ran to some 18 pages. It was an exercise in futility, because having looked at the response in those 18 pages, we could see no indication that the Honorable Prime Minister was minded to consider, far less to compromise in relation to the various matters that had been raised. We have activated other measures, and I am advised that communication has been sent to His Excellency the Governor-General, indicating the position that we currently hold, that the Honorable Timothy Harris does not command the support of a majority of elected members in the National Assembly. It is a matter for the GG, His Excellency, to act. We believe, based on legal advice that we have taken, that he does in fact have the authority to act, and therefore we have invited him to do so.
Early on Thursday, 21st April, in an interview on ABS Radio, the leader of the PAM Coalition Party indicated that the PAM Council met on the matter and had made a decision on PAM's future in the Team Unity Coalition as non-constituted.
The council, which is the highest decision-making body within the People's Action Movement, met, and I can say to you that the council has basically said to the leadership of the People's Action Movement that if the issues are not resolved, then it is time for PAM to walk away from this particular coalition arrangement. We have been making efforts to resolve the situation amicably, but if at the end of the day, the Prime Minister doesn't indicate that he is willing to do so, then we would have to consider the other options which are available to us.
Meanwhile, the political fracas is taking place during a period of national mourning for the late Ambassador Vance Amory, a former Premier of the Nevis Island administration. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Almost as soon as Premier Mark Brantley announced that a letter was submitted to the Governor-General removing support for the Prime Minister, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris called for a calm during the 10-day period of mourning for the late Ambassador and former Premier Vance Amory. In a national address Thursday afternoon, mere minutes after Premier Brantley spoke on Freedom Radio on the latest political developments, the Prime Minister suggested he has taken steps to address the issues raised by Team Unity partners in due course, but he intends to respect the period of mourning.
During this period, we must reflect respectfully on the life and work of the late Ambassador Vance Amory. He has made a sterling contribution to this federation as a whole, and to Nevis in particular. It would be good and decent to honor his memory with serenity and solemnity in an environment void of agitation and divisive conduct. You are all aware that certain misgivings are in the public domain with respect to the issues raised by the Team Unity partners. I wish to assure you, as your Prime Minister, that the country remains stable and every effort will be made to maintain the peace and tranquility of our beloved Federation. I have taken steps as Prime Minister to answer the several issues raised by my partners in the Team Unity Coalition. I have responded to those issues in writing. I intend to respect the period of mourning. I call on all political actors and parties to exercise restraint and demonstrate good judgment and respect during this period.
Ambassador Amory's body will lie in state at government headquarters until 3 p.m. on Friday, April 22nd, after which it will be transported to the sister island of Nevis. All national flags are being flown at half-mast during this period. It is left to be seen what will transpire in the political developments in light of the Prime Minister's announcement. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips. Nestled between evergreen mountains and the Caribbean Sea on the island of St. Kitts is the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center. With breathtaking views, a rugged, beautiful shoreline, and immaculate manicured gardens make this the perfect location for your holiday, event, or wedding. With a large convention center, apartments with balconies providing stunning views, and a secluded cottage for larger family groups or honeymooning couples looking for some privacy. We have something for everyone. Book your stay at www.millhouseskn.com or visit our Facebook page, the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center, an oasis of tranquility.
Ministers of Government, Family, and a military guard of reception received the body of the late Ambassador Vance Emery, a former Premier of Nevis. The late ambassador arrived via a British Airways flight at the Robert L. Bratcher International Airport on 20th April 2022. Members of the St. Kitts and Nevis National Assembly joined family of the late ambassador, including his wife, Mrs. Benita Emery, to receive the casket draped in the national flag. A procession carried the body to the Jenkins Funeral Home. According to information issued by the Governor-General, His Excellency Sir Tapley Seaton, there will be a 10-day official mourning period from 20th April to 30th April 2022. The body of the late ambassador and former Premier of Nevis will lie in state at Government Headquarters, Church Street, Bastille, near the National Assembly on the 21st and 22nd of April. Members of the public could view the body from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 on Thursday and from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Friday. Thereafter, he will lie in state on Nevis prior to his state funeral on Saturday, 30th April at the El Comida Willett Park in Charlestown. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Nagico Insurances donated 10 desktop computers to both the St. Paul's and the Dr. William Connor Primary Schools on Wednesday, April 20th. The brief ceremony was held at Nagico's conference room. Branch manager Mr. Amit Mohabir articulated that his event highlights Nagico's commitment to its corporate responsibilities.
This event this afternoon, as well as many others we've done in the past, stands as a true testimony of Nagico's commitment towards serving the people and providing exceptional service, giving back to community within the Federation. We hope that we can embark on other future initiatives geared towards developing youth and culture in the Federation, geared towards academic development, sports and development, and the likes.
Accepting the donations on behalf of the primary schools, Minister of Education John L. Powell expressed heartfelt gratitude.
Let me start by saying thank you. Thank you for your generous donation of these computers to be used at the St. Paul's Primary School as well as the Dr. William Connor Primary School. We know that more than any other time in our history, we are relying more and more on technology in our schools.
Minister Powell commended Nagico Insurances for its partnership and commitment to academic advancement of youth in the Federation. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
If you're looking for a place to host that special event, conference, meeting, social event, party, whatever the occasion, your best option is the Millhouse Convention Center, Palmetto Point, St. Kitts. Located on the picturesque Garvey's Estate, the Millhouse Guesthouse Convention Center has enough space for outdoor events overlooking the Caribbean Sea. If you're looking indoors, the center is equipped with amenities needed to make your event a success. And by combining both spaces, you're sure to have a memorable event, no matter the occasion. Call the offices at Millhouse Guesthouse and Convention Center to book your next event on simply the most beautiful place in St. Kitts. Call 668-1392. Millhouse Convention Center at Garvey's Estate, Palmetto Point, St. Kitts. Making your event memorable.
It's the new and improved SKN Newsline Android mobile app. With the SKN Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the SKN Newsline Newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search SKN Newsline, and download the app today. The SKN Newsline mobile app. News on the go.
An open interactive event can be described as
tremendous, effective,
on par with any conference around the world.
From exhibitions to trade shows, corporate events to product launches, from press events to political functions. We are the secret sauce behind events that make you go, wow. We've staged multiple world-class events in the Caribbean and develop the skill to deliver quality in every detail, whether the event is live or fully virtual, or maybe even somewhere in between. At Open Interactive, we got your events covered. Get your free quotation today at www.madebyopen.com.
Also making news tonight, the government is continuing to search for alternatives to reduce the country's national debt, which currently stands in the billions. While financial officials maintain increasing taxes is not an option at this time, the primary focus and strategy is on recovering the significant amount of funds that's owed to them. Carla Palmer explains.
$10.8 billion is what the national debt is currently pegged at. That number made worse by 2019's Hurricane Dorian and the current COVID-19 pandemic. Although the country is now fully open, authorities say with an almost 2-year lockdown, the economic damage to the country has already been done. And according to Financial Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Simon Wilson, has adversely impacted revenue performance. Nevertheless, he says revenue administration and collection continues to be a priority of the Davis administration in order to reduce the national debt.
Just making sure persons get their bills, making sure that payment mechanisms for taxpayers are much easier. And those efforts have been very successful.
According to Wilson, too many persons have reported not receiving their required tax information in the mail.
It's done by mail, so I don't give a post office box, so I use my cousin's post office box, I use my sister's post office box and so forth, but I'm interacting with the department by email. I'm saying, well, I don't get a bill. So now we take those email information, those email addresses, and we put it in a program, and now we're able to match it to the taxpayer and submit a bill to the taxpayer.
In the case of property tax, half of the bills issued are never received, causing finance officials to implement a new measure.
So this has been the first year we've done mass email mailings of property tax bills. We're using some artificial intelligence in terms of matching, so names and so forth. So we've been able to take various databases to make sure people get their bills.
Wilson says the program is working very well and is hoping to recover $1.5 billion. That's the amount he claims is outstanding in taxes owed the government.
That's equivalent probably with 3 years of our deficit. The key for us in revenue generation is really make people aware of the taxes. Well, most behemoths pay their taxes on time. Well, typically, people who are not paying are persons. There's a small percentage of persons who will not pay no matter the economic circumstances.
Wilson announced that finance officials plan to initially mount an education campaign to explain to residents why it's important they pay their taxes. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
From April 24 to 30, 2022, the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, together with the countries and territories of the region of the Americas and its partners, will celebrate the 20th annual Vaccination Week in the Americas to highlight the importance of vaccines and how immunization helps protect people from vaccine-preventable diseases and improving health. Against that backdrop, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, during Wednesday's COVID-19 update, noted that in observance of World Vaccination Week, his ministry will be placing emphasis on the human papillomavirus HPV vaccine, particularly for children under 5 years old.
During this vaccination week of the Americas, one of the things that we would also be doing here in Guyana is promoting the use of HPV vaccination.
Minister Anthony underscored that without vaccines that are given to children at an early age, which helps to protect them against diseases and viruses, many cases of infections and deaths among children would have occurred. Earlier in the year, Dr. Anthony had promised that his ministry will roll out an HPV vaccine campaign in the next 2 months to combat cervical cancer, which is the second most prevalent forms of cancer in Guyana. He's adamant that consistent administration of the vaccine could see reduction of this cancer in young girls.
Here is a tool using vaccination that can reduce it drastically, and if we work very well, can actually prevent it from happening. So during this vaccination week, we want to remind people about that and get more people to take these types of vaccines.
With COVID-19 still ongoing in Guyana and around the world, the subject minister also highlighted that the occasion will be used to promote COVID-19 vaccination among the adult and adolescent populations to reduce vaccine hesitancy, which is fueled by vaccine myths and misinformation.
With the pandemic, the occasion is also used to promote vaccination among everyone who can receive a COVID-19 vaccine. So the goal this year is to twin these two things, and hopefully we can get more people immunized.
The local vaccination data show that 439,306 adults have received a first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine and 338,438 are fully vaccinated, while 34,435 adolescents have accessed a first dose and 25,194 have been doubly vaccinated. There are now 61,042 adults with booster jabs. Reporting for the AGP Nightly News, Joel Vogt.
For many of the bars and restaurants in this once busy entertainment district of Lang Kwai Fong, the partial relaxation of COVID restrictions has come too late. One trade group estimates that by the end of April, 2,500 restaurants across the territory will have shut permanently. For more than 100 days, diners couldn't be served after 6 p.m. and no more than 2 people were allowed per table. This steakhouse, though, remains open. The owner frustrated with the government's COVID strategy.
It's not the policy itself. It's the lack of clarity. It's the confusion and chaos, the flip-flopping that's been quite sort of frustrating for us. Even if there's a spike in the number of cases, I hope the attitude is that we have to live with this now.
From Thursday, his restaurant can stay open until 10 p.m. with up to 4 diners per table. The government has been providing financial support to businesses, including gyms. But the owner of this one warns it won't survive another lockdown.
I think it will be difficult for us to survive with the existing cash flow if there is a new wave of COVID-19. Our cash flow has a limit. Most of the small and medium enterprises like us have not recovered from the fifth wave.
Hong Kong's standing as Asia's premier financial centre was already under pressure before the fifth wave. The European Chamber of Commerce says that up to half its members are considering leaving Hong Kong, in part because of its tough coronavirus restrictions. One expert, though, doubts they'll all go through with it.
It's easy to leave, it's more difficult to come back. They're considering leaving, and probably after some due diligence, they realize that Hong Kong remains to be a vibrant financial center.
Hong Kong's airport was once Asia's busiest. It's now eerily quiet. On Monday, no flights arrived from outside Asia. Airlines are banned for a week if 3 or more passengers test positive for COVID from the same flight. And everyone entering the territory must quarantine for a week in a hotel. Many other countries in Asia, including Singapore and South Korea, have opened their borders to fully vaccinated travellers who no longer need to quarantine. That in turn is helping their economies to grow again. But Hong Kong, like mainland China, is sticking doggedly to what it calls a dynamic zero infection strategy. That means eliminating the virus rather than learning to live with it. It's a strategy that many economists warn could damage Hong Kong's economic future. Adrian Brown, Al Jazeera, Hong Kong.
The shocking words were delivered at approximately 12 noon on Wednesday as one of the most powerful T20 batters in history opted to call it a day for his international career.
After careful deliberation, I have today decided to retire from international cricket. As is the case of many young persons, it was a dream of mine to represent the West Indies team from the time I was a boy of 10 years, and I'm proud to have represented West Indies cricket for over 15 years in both the T20 and ODI forms of the game.
At just 19 years, Pollard announced himself to the world with a 38-ball 83 during the Stanford T20 in Antigua back in 2006. But the burly all-rounder took the time to reminisce on his debut at the international level.
I can still vividly remember making my international debut in 2007 under the leadership of my childhood hero, the great Brian Lara. Wearing those maroon colours and playing alongside such greats has been a privilege that I've never took lightly, giving my heart and soul in every facet of the game.
The T20 extraordinaire expressed his gratitude to Cricket West Indies management for bestowing the captaincy role on him, which he stated is his highest honour yet. Furthermore, he gave a virtual high five to all the West Indian supporters.
As with many sports, there are highs and lows. But throughout it all, I've always felt the unwavering support and love of the fans of West Indies cricket who understand the importance of this great sport to the people of the Caribbean.
His gratitude was also directed to his home circle and said that he looks forward to spending more quality time with them. As the big KP rides into the sunset with his international career, he had this message for all.
As I move on and I make room for those who will carry the game forward in West Indian colours, know that I will always be supporting in whatever way I can. It is with profound gratitude for living my dream that I now raise my bat in salute to all that is West Indies cricket. Thank you.
Welcome to the SKN Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boone. Here is a look at the 4-day forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.